focus on creating this sense of readiness in our body, letting go of the stuff that we don't need. And so I have a good quote that I came across this week from Corey T. Boom. Worry does not empty tomorrow of its sorrow. It empties today of its strength. So in our practice today, we'll be letting go of the worry and focusing on the strength that we can attain for ourselves, so that we can move on and become ready for life and like life after this quarantine. So take a seat really quick. It's gonna feel funny just for a second. Close the eyes and then punch your fists up to the sky. So it's actually a power pose, and there's a lot of strength and science behind taking these postures. But as you close the eyes, just notice how you feel. So you're creating fists with the hands and then reaching up in this wide V position. And feeling that you can embody it and find this strength in your body, this mentality through your practice, this sense of readiness. So we're going to find this a few times. So if you hear me say like punch the fist up, it's going to be really making a fist. Release the hands, and then we're going to start on the back. So bringing the feet hip width apart as you lay on the back, setting up for a low bridge. Press your hands down next to you, and then press the feet and the hands into the mat to lift the hips. Now, as I said, it's low because the purpose of our bridge here is to get the glutes firing. So that's part of our core, and they're these big mover muscles that we really want engaged and firing for our practice. You can always take the fingers there to make sure that they're working if you'd like. And then hold the position of the pelvis. So we're in neutral here. So our sits bones are reaching towards our knees. Reach the hands up to the sky. Spread your right fingers wide and pull back using your left hand. So you're pressing through the heel of the right hand as you reach it up. You could stay with that or reach it up and over your head. Bring it back up towards the ceiling and switch. Spread the left fingers wide, pull back using your right hand. You could leave that there or reach it up and over your head, creating a little more space on the sides of the body. And reach the hands up to the sky, release that, and then make the fists again, but this time roll through your wrist, both directions. And slowly release that and bring the hands back by your side. Lift the heels up. So there's this sense of readiness when we come up to the balls of the feet. And also when we're lifting, we're creating this pull on the back line of the body. So you're opening up your fascia, which wraps your muscles, but there's the fascial line that's from the bottom of the feet and all the way up the back of the body. So notice that pull, and you can always lift and lower if that's better for you, or lift and hold, either one. One last breath here. Now keep your heels lifted and segment the spine down. So upper back down, mid back, low back, and then lastly, your pelvis, bringing the heels down last. Okay. Bring your hands behind the head, cupping your head with the hands, then lead the elbows up to the sky. So you're essentially like squeezing your skull with your forearms lightly. Take a breath in, exhale, and lift the shoulder blades off the mat. So take a look down and check that the sides of the ribs are pulling in. You can always use a hand there as well if you'd like. Then think about the front of your hip points moving closer together. They don't actually move, just energetically finding that line across. And then inhale to lower, exhale and lift. And same thing, sides of the ribs pull in, hip points. And now think about your sits bone. So very bottom of the pelvis, what we were seated on a moment ago, try and pull that area closer together. So it's a little more activation, getting into the lowest part of our core. Inhale to lower, exhale and lift. Holding all of that in place, stay here or extend the left leg up to the sky, pressing through the heel of the foot. If it feels like too much to have it straight up, you could have it reaching slightly forward. Then punch your right arm up. So it's that fist position. And as you reach up, you're letting the right shoulder blade protract or move away from the center of the spine. And bring everything back to where it was, hand behind the head, lower the foot, inhale to lower, exhale and lift. Hold here or extend the right leg up to the sky or slightly forward. Then make a fist with the left hand and reach it up. Again, let the left shoulder move the arm towards the sky as you lift and press strongly through the right foot. Then rebend the knee, hand behind the head. Inhale to lower, exhale and lift. It's our last one. Extend the left leg up, then punch up through the right. So we're lifting the arm and the leg, but the front body is still holding together and essentially pressing down. Hand comes behind the head, lower the foot. Inhale to lower, exhale and lift. Right leg reaches up, left hand punches up to the sky. And see if maybe you can lift up a little bit more as you contain the front of the body, so still pulling in. Feeling that integration of your core. And then bring a hand behind the head, lower the foot, inhale to lower. Bring the arms out into a T position and wiggle, no, just kidding. Pull the knees in, almost messed that up. Pull the knees in and then take it over to the left. Now both hands come over to the left. So you're in like a half T. So hands come on top of one another to the left. We're going to backstroke the right arm. So it comes up by your ear, out to the side, and by your side. So it's these big circles with the right arm. And if there's somewhere that you'd like to stay to get a little more space, you could take a couple breaths there. Take one more big sweeping motion. Bring both hands to your knees, pull them back through center. Pull them in, and then they go to the right, so onto the opposite side. Bring both arms to the right, and then take your left arm in that big sweeping backstroke motion. So this movement, even though we cue the arm, happens from your shoulder blade or your scapula on the back. So think about that as you reach it and let the shoulder blade move. Reach it up past your ear, let it move there, and then same thing the rest of the way through that circle. Just noting how this side feels without judging, critiquing. And bring both hands together. Bring them to your knees and pull it back through center. Hands come behind the head. So one more core thing here. Extend the legs up to the sky. Knees don't have to be fully extended. Press through the heels the best you can and firm up the legs so quads are working as well. Take a breath in. Exhale to release the breath and lift up off the shoulders. Lower your left leg about halfway down. It could be up a little bit higher too. turn slightly to the right. So you're lifting both shoulder blades the best you can, and it's a small, like 1 to 2 inch turn to the right. Allow the upper parts of the legs to go closer, essentially crossing at the upper thigh. So right leg heads to the left, left leg heads to the right. And reach your left arm up and take it across to the outside of the right. Squeeze everything towards your midline as you're lifted. And then bring the hand behind the head, legs back to the sky. Inhale to lower, exhale and lift. Right leg lowers. Turn slightly to the left and then let your upper legs cross over one another. Reach the right arm, take it across the outside of your left leg. And then you can even press your forearm into the left leg and vice versa, giving you a little more tension. Feedback there. And then hand comes up to the sky, bring yourself back through center. Inhale to lower, exhale and lift. So the good thing is these are so effective, we don't have to do many. Left leg lowers, small turn to the right, let the upper legs cross, and then punch up with the left arm. Take it to the outside of the right leg and lift. Keep that sense of pulling down in the back ribs. Squeeze those legs towards one another. See if you can lift up a little bit more and more and more. And then bring it back, legs to the sky. Inhale to lower. Last one. Exhale and lift. Right leg lowers. Turn slightly to the left. Upper legs cross over one another. Punch the right arm up to the sky, like boom, ready for this. And then take it to the outside of the left leg. Remember that feedback you can do, pressing the forearm into the thigh. And then lift up a little bit more if you can. And keep pulling down, pull the back ribs down. Remember, not a big twist. Lift, lift, lift. And then bring it back. Woo! Those always get me. We're gonna pull the knees in. You can rock forward and back or roll to your side to come up. Your choice. We're gonna meet in table. So as you come to hands and knees, we're gonna find these barrel rolls here for the torso. So let the belly go towards the ground, over to the, up to the sky and to the right. Creating a circular movement for your spine, your ribs, moving. And then bring it back to center and take it in the opposite direction. So again, think ribs to the ground, right, up, back of the ribs to the sky, and over to the left. Come back to center. Lower to the forearms, bringing the elbows right underneath your shoulders. Your forearms can stay parallel with one another. Or you can allow the hands to come a little bit closer together, maybe even interlacing the fingers. Curl your toes under to lift the knees up off of your mat, finding a dolphin. So we're working this dolphin to help build the proximal stability and the shoulder strength for our practice. So think about pulling the front of your body in. So all the core work we did, like imagine your back was on the ground. Pull the front ribs in towards your back body. Create length in the spine by utilizing your core integration. So that pull in and then the lift up with the pelvis. Remember, knees can be slightly bent if that's pulling on the pelvis and the hamstrings. Now keep your right foot grounded and lift the left leg off the mat, and it's just gonna come in line with your hip. The heel is to the sky and the toes are to the ground, so check that for yourself. Now bend your left knee without changing anything else, just the knee bends, so we don't move in the back or the pelvis. Press your heel to the sky and lower it just a little bit, press the heel up. Remember, right knee can be bent because this is a pull on that side. Couple more lifts up with your left heel, getting your left glute to fire more. And then set your left foot down, right leg lifts, So check first, toes to the ground, front of your right hip is towards your mat. Bend your right knee, press up through the heel, and then lower it down and lift and lower. Little tiny pulses, again, to get the glute firing. If you need to modify this, you could be on the hands or even lowering the left knee down. Set both feet down, take a breath, then find child's pose. So knees lower, sit your hips back towards your heels. Does it feel good on wider, or perhaps the forearms? To yourself for that work you just did. And then forward, coming into table, and then curl the toes, lift up to your down dog. Bend one knee and then the opposite knee, shifting from side to side. Keep the idea of pedaling the feet, but walk them forward. So just take an absorbent amount of time, like just bend one knee, step the foot forward, bend the opposite, slowly walking. And then as you get closer to the front, bend the knees a little bit more. That's a really nice release for the back, especially since first movement of the day likely. So bend the knees a lot and keep pulling and lifting up in the front of your body as you arrive at the front of the mat. Now ground firmly into the feet, keep lifting, and we want to find this co-contraction. So keep lifting in the front and imagine you could pull the front and the back of your torso together and then lift all the way up. Reach the hands up to the sky. Inhale. On your exhale, bring the left hand down, reach the right arm up and over. It's a lateral stretch. Inhale, center. Exhale, bring the right hand down, left arm reaches up and over. Bring it all the way back up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. So we bend the knees and the hips sit back into hips. Bring your fingertips down. Step your right foot back, lower the right knee, untuck your right toes. You're on the top of the foot. Lift your arms forward and up to the sky as you bring yourself into this 90-90 position. So our hips are over the pelvis, over the right knee. Plant your left heel and imagine you could draw it back towards you a little bit more. And then check that the right glute is firing here. You could even sweep a hand to make sure. Now hold the lower half where it is, but bring your arms by your side and we're gonna roll through the shoulders. So lifting your scapula on the back, up, back, and down. And you're alternating from side to side, moving, again, mobilizing in the upper body. So you might hear some like crackling, like Rice Krispies. That's your fascia, and that's why we're doing this. It needs hydration. So movement helps create that hydration. Bring the hands down to your mat. Step it back into plank and then check. We want the glutes working here. Think about lifting up the front body again. Imagine you are on your back. And then lower the knees. Lower all the way down with control. Your cobra. So you pull with the hands to bring the chest forward and curl the toes. Headed plank. Lift the front of the body up to push yourself up and back to your down dog. Step your right foot forward. The left knee lowers, it's underneath the hip as you come up. Untuck your left toes and reach your arms forward and up. So stabilize the lower half. Squeeze your outer hips towards one another. Left glute is on. Plant your right heel and imagine you could pull it back towards you a little bit more. Contain the front ribs, and we'll add in the arm or the shoulder rolls. So hands come by your side and mobilize the upper part, rolling one at a time. A few more each side. This is something that we could easily add into our day, maybe once or twice a day, just rolling through the shoulders. Bring the hands down to your mat. Lean into the hands to step the feet together. So you're going to press firmly into the hands and step both feet together. Inhale, reach your arms forward and up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. We're going to do the other side. So left foot steps back, the left knee lowers, and reach both arms up. Now create a fist with the left hand, so punch it up to the sky, and sweep the right hand behind the back. It's going to come to the low back and then down right at your sacrum. So that's your fused vertebrae at the base of the spine. Now pull the front of you in so that you can press into that right hand. And then can you lift up a little bit more from that integration, that sense of pulling in? Maybe the knuckles reach further towards the ceiling. Last breath here. Bring your left hand down and find a twist. It's going to come right under your left arm, reaches to the sky. Reach your right arm forward and lift up through the right ribs, and maybe the right leg straightens a little bit. Now bring your right hand down to the inside of the right foot. Walk your right foot a little further forward and lift the toes. You can even lift the sole of the foot. So it's this variation of a pyramid or a half split. Okay, walk your right foot back, bring it back. Bring the hands forward. So you're going to lean into the hands again. Shoulders right over your wrist. Step it back into plank. Glutes on. Lower the knees. And then lower all the way down with control. For your cobra, remember the belly supports the back to create all around the navel. And then lift up to your plank. Back to your down dog. Left foot steps forward, the right knee lowers. Lift all the way up first, right glute is on, and then punch the right arm up, sweep the left hand behind you. So left hand comes to your sacrum or low back, right below the low back, and then pull in towards your left hand. Notice how that strength, which is what we're trying to create today, allows you to lift up a little bit more and create more space. Reach up a little bit higher if you can. We'll find a twist from here. So right hand comes down, left arm lifts to the sky. Reach your left arm forward and lift the left side ribs towards the ceiling. You can work towards, just see how it feels to straighten or work towards straightening the left leg. Bring your left hand down so they both come to the inside of the foot. You can walk the left foot forward if you need to. We're keeping the hips right over the right knee. Pull your toes and the ball of the foot towards your left hip. And like we did earlier in our abdominals, think about the left quad working here. Bring yourself forward, lean into the hands, curl your right toes to lift the knee off the mat and step to the front. Inhale, reach your arms forward and up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. All right. Right foot steps back, the right knee lowers. We're gonna lift up into a lunge, bringing the hands in front of us this time. So left hand comes in front of or behind the right, left behind the right. You're just bringing the fingers together. So this is called Ganesh Mudra. We're gonna turn to the left and back through center. You could take this slow or a little bit quicker if you'd like. This mudra is a clearing mudra. It's clearing all obstacles. So we're letting go of that worry, that fear, like whatever you need to let go of today. Turn to the left and hold. Bring your hands into a prayer position. The right elbow comes on top of your left thigh. Now we're not leveraging ourselves into it. How we create a strong twist is by in to center. So think about the integration, pulling in towards the center of the spine, and that's where the twist originates. Take your gaze down and curl your right toes to lift the right knee off the mat. If you need to modify this, the right hand could be down on the ground. Lean into your left foot and step your right foot a little bit all the way next to your left foot. Step it back. So you're just adjusting, step it forward and step it back where the weight and the load is. And when we bring the right foot forward, we want the weight to stay in the left glute so that we're sitting back into that hip flexion. Last one. Step the right foot back. Find your low twist. So right hand is down, left arm is high. Lower the right knee so it's right under your right hip. Modified side plank. So the left leg goes towards the back of the room. Reach up with the left arm and then backstroke the left arm. If you need to, the left foot could be down here. Big circles through the left arm. One more big sweeping motion. And bring your left hand down. Step it back into plank. You could take a flow from here with control. So glutes on as you lower. You might just pause. And we'll all meet in down dog. So when you're ready, meet there. Lift the left leg up and step your left foot forward. Lift the right leg up and both feet meet at the front of the mat. Inhale, reach your arms forward and up to the sky. As you're lifting, we're containing the front ribs. It's all the core work we did. Exhale, hinge at the hips. The left foot steps back and the knee lowers, coming into your low lunge on this side. We'll bring the right behind the left this time. Okay, so pull the hands towards you, then bring some tension into that. Turn to the right and back through center. Again, outer hip squeeze towards one another so you're stabilizing in the pelvis. We're creating stability so that we can create mobility, which is what we're doing in the upper spine here. Stay to the right and bring your hands to prayer. See if you can lift up a little bit more through the spine, and then bring your left elbow to the right thigh. Take your gaze down and lift your left knee off the mat. So here, we're sitting back into the right glute, creating a nice hip flexion. And we're gonna take the weight into the right leg and step your left foot closer, or it might come all the way next to, and then step it back. This is where. So you guys keep shifting forward and back. You can also change this. I'm doing it because of the microphone, but you could bring your left hand down and you're like to the ground or on top of the thigh. Last one. Step your left foot back, bring your left hand down right under the shoulder. Lower the left knee, modified side plank, so right leg goes back. You could have it lifted or on the ground, sweep with the right arm. If it feels good for the neck, you can allow your neck to release towards the mat. Find your plank from here. So hand comes down, spin to the ball of your foot and step it into your plank. You could flow or just pause and hold, working on perfecting that plank. Back of the head, shoulder blades, and your sacrum are in one line. Glutes are firing. We'll meet in down dog, lifting the hips up. Bend the knees from your down dog. Take your gaze forward and step or hop to the front of the mat. Inhale, reach your arms forward and up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. The hands plant right under the shoulders, step it back into plank, flow, or just lift to down dog. Bend the knees, gaze forward, step or hop to the front of the mat. We have one more, Sun A. Inhale, reach your arms forward and up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. So bend the knees, sit back. Hands are right under the shoulders, step back into plank. Pause here or lower, meeting in down dog. Shorten your dog a little bit, so walk the feet slightly closer to the hands, just about one footprint. Lift the left leg up. And same thing in our dolphin as we did in dolphin, right? You might bend the right knee a little bit. You're checking that the front of the left leg is towards your mat. Lift and lower the right heel as we did in our bridge. Now you could press into the ball of the right foot, adding your hop if you'd like, just an option. We're gonna end up with the left leg forward in a crescent lunge. So bring your left foot forward and find your crescent lunge, arms reaching up to the sky. Punch the right fist towards the ceiling and bring your left hand to your sacrum to the back, like we did in low lunge earlier. Create a little more lift in the right side. Pull in towards your left hand. One more breath. Open up to goddess. So you're going to sweep the right arm in that fist, or open up, bringing fists out to both sides. Keep your pelvis where it is and shift the ribs side to side. So thinking about those barrel rolls we did in table, you're just moving now side to side, getting the obliques to fire a little bit more. Turn to the back of your mat to find a plank position. So hands come down, shoulders right under the wrist, step the right foot back. Now lift the right leg, three-legged down dog. Bend your knee, similar to dolphin, and then bring your right knee next to your left. Right knee next to your left. Hold here and keep pulling in the front of your body as you shift forward into plank. So we're in this funky plank with the right knee bent. Now keep lifting up in the front, but pull your right knee in towards you and then press the right heel to the sky. Knee in towards you, shoulders right over the wrist, heel to the sky. Last one. Keep the knee bent, lift up to your three-legged down dog, and now let your right hip open, your right pelvis open. But when we do this, we want to let the ribs turn so that the spine turns as one. So keep pulling in at the lowest part of your belly through the abdominals and let your ribs turn with the pelvis. Okay, now we're gonna step the right foot forward. So square the hips. Step your right foot forward, load it for an airplane. So walk your hands forward, lift the left leg. Your hands could stay on the ground. You could walk them up the right leg, finding a little more strength here. Open up to your warrior two. So the left foot comes down, warrior two on your right leg. Breathe in. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Lift up through the right side. Breathe in here. And on your exhale, bring it to warrior variation. So the forearm comes down and the left arm reaches past your left ear. Again, keep pulling in. So check in with the front body. Do you need to pull in a little bit more to create that neutral pelvis. So what I mean by that is the top of the pelvis might be tipping forward. We want it neutral. Windmill back to the front of your mat for dolphin. So you're gonna lift up, straighten the right leg, turn to the front. You could take down dog as well. Otherwise, bring the forearms down as the left leg lifts for your three-legged dolphin. Keeping the pelvis even from left to right. So we're not hiking it here. And we do this the majority of the time to build strength and connection. Okay, take one more breath and then set the feet down. Lift up to the hands. So work those arms. Pull yourself forward into plank. You could pause here or just lift right back to down dog or take your flow. So choosing what best serves you to create strength in your body, readiness, and then we'll meet in down dog. Feet step slightly closer to the hands and the right leg lifts. Remember, left knee can be bent a lot or a little. Lift and lower your left heel. If you want to add on your hop, press into the ball of the left foot, adding your hop in. Then we'll step or hop switch the right leg forward, coming up into our crescent lunge. So we first arrive here establishing the lower half, neutral pelvis. The left knee might be a little or a lot bent. Leave the left hand up to the sky in that fist position and bring your right hand behind to your sacrum. Pull in towards your right hand as you punch up into the left. Create a little more lift if you can. Open up into goddess. So you're turning to the left side this time. Open the fist this time, so spread the fingers wide, it's nice for the wrists, and then shift from side to side. If you want a little like 2-for-1, you can also roll through the wrist as you create this movement. Turning to the back of the mat for your plank position. Hands come down, shoulders over the wrist, step it back into plank. Lift for your down dog and lift the left leg up. Bend your left knee and pull the left knee right next to the right. Flex your left foot. Pull up the ribs a little bit more. So front ribs pull away from the ground. And now bring yourself into plank in this funky plank. So when we move the leg, that's the only thing we want moving. So that's the hip joint. So we're just moving the leg. Reach the heel up and then pull the knee in. Reach it up. And if you need to modify, the right knee is down. So you can do this in a tabletop position as well. It's very challenging. Last one. Lift up to your three-legged down dog. Keep the knee bent, but let your pelvis roll open along with the ribs. So turn through the ribs with the pelvis. And keep that active left foot, left glute. Stepping the left foot forward, so rotate so that both hips are towards the hip points towards the ground, and step and load your left foot. Find your airplane, right leg lifts. So this is the glute we just got firing, so it's firing for us. You can walk the hands up the legs if you'd like to, creating length in the torso. Notice your breath. Building that strength so that we can leave the worry behind, leave the stress behind. Tap into your strength. Open up for your warrior two. So right foot comes down, warrior two on the left leg. Breathe in. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Lift up to the sky. So we're not leaning back, we're lifting towards the ceiling. Allow your left ribs to lift and the left shoulder blade to lift with you. Find your warrior variation on your exhale. Forearm comes down. Sweep the right arm past your right ear. As you pause, pull in a little bit more. We're not sinking into the left side. We're lifting up through the right. Head to the front of your mat for dolphin or down dog. So we plant the hands, sweep the right leg up, lower to your forearms if you'd like. Hips towards your mat. You can lift and lower the left heel or just pause right here. Keep pressing firmly into the forearms. And then both feet come down. Press up to the hands, finding your down dog. Bend the knees and step or hop to the front of the mat. So last little part here. Inhale, arms reach forward and up to the sky. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Okay? Step your right foot back and the right knee lowers. Lift up into a low lunge, bringing the hands together in front of you. So we're sinking these together. Turn to the left and center. Left and center, left and hold. Bring the hands together to your prayer position, right elbow to your left thigh. Gazing down, lift the right knee off the mat. If you want to stick with what we did the first time, step your right foot forward and back, you can, or shift all the way into the left leg and lift your right foot off the ground. Stay with that, or if you want to make it even more challenging, you can bring the right knee next to the left and then send it back. One more movement or breath. Step your right foot back, bring your right hand down to the ground. Modified side plank, right knee lowers, left leg goes back, left arm reaches up. Backstroke the arm 3 times, big circles here for that left side. Then bring your left hand to your left outer hip. Bend your left knee. We're going to step and load it for goddess. You're going to step the left foot forward and then open up to goddess. Shifting through the ribs. Yeah. Then turning to the back of the mat, plant the hands. The right leg lifts for your 3-legged down dog. Bend your knee. You can let the pelvis and the pelvis open, which we normally don't do, but we can as long as the ribs turn and you're pulling up in the front line. If you want to flip it here, pivot, lift the hips up. We will meet in 3-legged down dog, so hands plant, right leg lifts. Step and load the right leg for airplane. Plant the right foot and lift up. Long spine. Sit into the right hip here, because a lot of times we overextend and we're pulling too much on our ligament. So sit into that right hip. Keep pulling up with the front of your body to create length in the spine. Warrior 2, step it back and open. Breathe in. Exhale, reverse. Breathe in. Warrior variation. Reaching and extending through that left side, lift up through the left ribs. If you would like to add on, you could always add on a half moon from here. Feel that integration of your strength, pulling the feet a little bit closer together, just energetically. Lowering from your half moon if you took it. Windmill to the front of the mat. Find your dolphin with the left leg lifted. Bend your knee and straighten the leg. Bend and straighten, and then bend and hold. Remember, not moving in the pelvis or the spine, and lift up on the right heel. Lift the right heel. And then set both feet down. Press up to the hands. You could flow or just pause in your down dog. Find your breath. That full inhale and exhale as you arrive. Bend the knees. Step or hop to the front of the mat. Plant firmly into the feet. Inhale, reach your arms forward and up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Step your left foot back. Lower the left knee and then come up into your low lunge, bringing the right hand behind the left. Stabilize through the lower half as you turn to the right and center. Right and center, and then right and hold. Bring the hands into prayer. Left elbow to your right thigh. Take your gaze down and lift your left knee off the mat. Stay. Bring your left foot to tap next to the right, or float your left leg. You could stay with that or pull the left knee next to the right and then back. We would ideally we really want a neutral pelvis and level hips. So we're not letting that left hip lower more than the right. Step your left foot back, left hand down, modified side plank. So the knee lowers, the right leg goes back, sweep through the right arm. Big circle. Bring your right hand to your right hip. Bend your knee, pull it in. Then we're gonna step and load it, lifting up into goddess. So step the right foot and lift up, goddess. Just a few shifts left to right. Back of the mat, down dog. Hands plant, three-legged down dog. The left leg lifts. Bend your knee. And then you can lift or rotate, but let the ribs move with you. Stay or flip it. You would adjust all the toes towards the back of the mat, then lift the hips up, opening up through your chest. Find your three-legged down dog. That's where we'll meet. Left foot steps forward. Load the left leg, airplane. Bend into your left knee, pull your chest forward, but keep the front ribs pulling in towards your back ribs. Finding essentially that Tadasana in your upper body. Step it back for your warrior two. Breathe in. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Lift up. Exhale, warrior variation. So forearm to the thigh, right arm reaches past your right ear. Then feel the strength. If you want to change this and move into half moon, feel free to take it. Otherwise, create that space through the right side. Lift up through the right ribs. Lower the right foot down if you took it lifted and windmill to the front of the mat. Bring both hands down. Right leg lifts. Lower to the forearms. Bend your right knee and pause. Check that we're not hiking here. Think about the inner thighs working. Press through the right heel. Left knee can be bent a lot or a little. And again, pull the front ribs in. And step both feet down. You could press up and take a flow, or you could lower both knees and find your child's pose. Sitting the hips back, letting the forehead find rest. Into a table position. Thread the right arm underneath you. So threading the needle, bringing the right shoulder down. Reach your left arm forward. And you could stay with this and just lift up through, like breathe space into the back. You could also extend your left leg. But if it takes it out of the torso, like the shoulders, if you extend the leg, just keep the knees back on the mat. Breathe in fully. Exhale completely. Bring your left hand a little bit further back, like closer to the head. Then lift up. Take the right hand down and switch. The left arm threads under you, lowering the left shoulder down. Again, breathing into the back line of your body. Relax your jaw, the muscles in the face. Gently bring your right hand closer to you and then press up. Coming back into table, pick a side for your feet to go towards. And maybe if you're used to this, you pick the opposite side. Walk your hands back, lowering to the hips. Bring your feet in front of you with the knees bent. Bring the hands to the backs of the hamstrings. And then roll to the back, pulling the knees in towards the chest. You can rock a little bit from side to side if you'd like. Keep the right knee bent, bring the foot to the ground. Extend the left leg up towards the ceiling and roll through your left ankle. And reverse it. Flex the foot as much as you can. Press through the heel. Then bend your knee. Take the left ankle on top of your right thigh. Pull it in towards you. I'll bring your left elbow. So if you'd like, this is just a little tidbit if you want it. Left elbow to, it's called the inner condyle of your knee. You feel like this little divot on the inside of the knee. We're gonna bring your left elbow to that inner condyle and not a ton of force, just a little bit of pressure. Think about moving that out towards the left. So basically like you're uncorking the hip. Again, not as much force and pressure as you can manage, just a little bit. Allow your back ribs to settle, the back of the head to release into your mat. And gently set your right foot down. Re-extend the left leg to the sky. And then bend your left knee, set your left foot on the ground. Notice the difference from side to side. Extend the right leg towards the sky. Roll through your right ankle. And flex through the foot, press strong through the heel. Now bend your knee, right ankle on top of your left thigh. Pull in towards your torso. If you want to stay with this, you can leave the hands by your side or wrap them around the hamstring. If it feels okay, so we don't want any a lot of sensation beforehand. We don't need to change it if you already have an immense amount of sensation. But if you're good, we're going to take a little more uncorking. So the right elbow comes to that inner condyle of the right knee, that little divot. Keep your right foot flexed and then press it outward. So you're essentially pulling your thigh bone, your femur bone, a little more out of the pelvis to create a pull for your femur. A little more pull on the fascia. And at the same time, you're still continuing to bring the left knee closer to you. And it doesn't mean all the way. It's just whatever feels best and works best in your body, honoring you. Gently set your left foot down, extend the right leg up, and then rebend your right knee. Set the right foot down. Wiggle the feet a little bit wider than hip width apart. Allow your knees to fall towards one another. Bring the hands by your side in this at the diagonal. Spread the fingers really wide, like as wide as you can, creating a pull on the wrist and through the hands. Then choose here whether you'd like to keep the legs where they are or you can walk them forward for your Shavasana. Notice if the chin is jutting towards the sky. We want to create neutral here, as in with everything. So pull the chin a little bit more towards your throat so you can have a neutral cervical spine. Last full breath in and big exhale out. Finding your Shavasana. If you have the ability to stay longer and you'd like to, please do. Otherwise, moving the fingers, the toes, creating wrist circles, ankle circles, maybe a full body stretch. Slowly walk the feet in towards your hips. You might stay or roll to your side. Pause to thank yourself, just like you did at the beginning of practice, but now for putting in the work, for creating the strength in your body so that we are ready to tackle our day, ready to tackle whatever is next. And lifting up into a seated position, bringing the hands together in front of our hearts. Remembering that worry does not empty tomorrow of its sorrow. It empties today of its strength. So as we prepare and create this readiness, we eliminate worry, we eliminate fear, whatever we need to eliminate, it's gone. And then lastly, punching the fists up to the sky, make that big V shape with the arms, embodying this feeling of readiness, of strength. And then hands come back to our heart in front of us. I'm grateful for each one of you for allowing me to guide you in your practice. I hope that you can take what you learn on your mat with you and incorporate it into your lives. We bow to ourselves and to one another. Namaste.